Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm working on my medium leaf size Ficus benjamina, and it's a fusion ficus, and it's commonly known as the FrankenFicus. This tree almost died about, I think it was 6 years ago. It was in the corner of the plant room here, and we got a record cold that year, minus 36 degrees Celsius, and 3 trees in the corner of this room froze, partially froze. So what happened is I lost the entire top of this tree. So I took a cutting off of it, rooted the cutting, and then I planted the cutting, which you can see here, on top of the tree, draped the roots around the existing trunk. So both the old trunk and the new cutting were alive, and they've been fusing together over the, last 6 years. And it's becoming one tree once again. So that's kind of good. It's a story of tragedy and overcoming that tragedy into something that's starting to look good. So today I'm going to be pruning this tree up. There's a lot of branches that are just growing the wrong direction. So I've slowly been trying to style this tree. The lower part of the tree is really nice with all the, the roots and the trunk and everything. But the upper part of the tree, the branches are, a bit of a mess. They need a lot of sorting out. And it's not something you can do right away. It's something you've got to let it grow, clip it, let it grow again, clip it, and slowly over the years, it'll get a really nice, branch structure to the tree. I'm going to start the pruning today by pruning off branches that aren't growing in a good direction. So branches that are going straight up, maybe branches that are going straight down, crossing branches, double branches, one on top of another. Kind of major structural refinement is what I'm doing today. Trying to get that, what branches are there, kind of sorted out. I'm not going to worry about, the smaller branches for now. I'm going to start on the major branches. So you can see there was a very upright one here. I pruned it off to a more horizontal branch, and it kind of comes horizontal. But you can see on top of it here, I've got quite a tall vertical section. I think that's got to come off today. Here's a better look at that branch. So you can see the branch coming up, and then it goes right vertical here. And I have some nice horizontal branches coming off of it. So I'm going to take that whole upper section off. It's a big cut, but I think it'll really improve this branch structure for the future. It might leave a big hole in the canopy for now, but that'll fill in eventually. So let me get the pruners out, and I'll take that upper part off. All right, here I go. Big cut coming up. So I'm going to come in like this, right like that, and cut it off flush. So here I go. Done, just like that. So that's a fairly big cut. So now I'm going to look at the rest of the branch structure. Make sure it's nice and flowing. I can see a few more shoots at the tips that could be removed. So out here, I'm removing anything that's kind of growing up vertically. There's a small shoot here I can take off. There's one here I can prune back. I've got kind of the whole branch tip here is growing vertical, so I could prune it off to a more horizontal branch, and I will. So to here, like that. And then I'm looking at this one. I've got, again, some vertical growth here. Take that off. Take this back to here. And then here I have kind of I'll show you this branch, a close-up of it. It's kind of a ladder branch. Here's that branch here I'm talking about. So I have, the branch comes up. I have a horizontal branch here, another horizontal branch here, and another one above, and another one above. So they're all in line with each other. They're underneath each other. So I think I'm just going to take it off to the first horizontal branch here. That gives me a change of direction, change of taper. like that. At the back of this branch, there's another branch coming here, and it has a vertical section I can take off here, like that. Possibly even taking it back to here. I think I will. Again, change of direction, change of taper. There's some vertical growth I can take off here, like that. And then there's a shoot coming out here that's starting to go upwards. I'm going to prune it to a more horizontal leaf, back to here, like that. So that gets, this whole branch is quite a bit flatter now. I think the basic structure of it looks good. This branch coming off here is a little, doesn't flow the greatest. It may be taken off in the future. But for now, I'm going to leave it on to build this branch up. So that kind of takes care of that one major branch line. Let's have a look at the tree from the front now. Here's a look at the tree. So from the front view, it doesn't look too much different until you kind of go up here, and then you can see the kind of giant hole that is on this side of the tree. But you know, that's room for branches to grow in, fill out that space. So that's what'll happen in the future, is that I'll grow up branches to fill that in, and it'll look really good. So let's tackle the next major branch, which is this one here, coming up off the trunk. I've got a horizontal branch here, and you can see how it reaches skyward and just goes basically vertical right up to the edge of the canopy. So I want to lower that, prune it back to a more horizontal branch so the leader isn't going straight up. You know, that's a bit of a problem with this tree, is everything's kind of like that instead of, it's like that instead of spread out more. It's hard to do that with your hand, but yeah, so let's work on this branch next. I have a branch that's going in towards the tree. I'll prune that off. It's just a little new one. There's one growing straight up here. I'll take off. This one also crosses the trunk line. I'll take that off. And then this branch, there's one going straight up here. I can take off like that. It's a bit of an eye poker branch, this one, but I guess I could take this part of it off so it's a little more directed to the right. I'll leave all these little ones on, they're fine. So off of this branch, it divides into two down low here. This part is very strong on the outside, and then it has a vertical section here that grows straight up. I'll show you that. So here's that branch. So you can see there's a horizontal part, and then there's a part that goes vertical, and it grows up in between all these upper branches, and it's very weak because it doesn't get any light. The part that's horizontal gets light out here, and it's strong. So I'll take off that vertical growth that's in here. Here I go. I'll leave a bit of an elbow here, but let me get in here, and off it comes. Just like that. So you can see how weak that branch was compared to this part of it, which is a lot of foliage. So on that same branch, I have a vertical shoot coming up. I'll take that off. I have another vertical one here I can take off. And then at the tip, it's starting to go upwards, so I think I need to prune it back to there. This branch is fine. This one is kind of vertical. I'm going to take it off like that. The branch out the back is fine. I've got a hanging branch here, which is fine. Another one here. So I think that back part of this main branch is pruned up. So let's follow this branch up now. So I'm going up. I have a vertical shoot in here. I'll show you that. Actually, I have kind of two bad branches in that same area. Here's that area. So this branch comes up, and then I've got a branch that kind of grows back over top of some other branches, and I have a vertical one, a new shoot growing in here. I don't know how well you can see that, but right here. So both of those need to be removed. I'll come in with the scissors and take the new shoot off, like that. So there it is, growing straight up. And then I've got this one growing out the back here that doesn't flow nicely. It's time to take it off. So I'll come in here and remove it. So there it goes, that branch there. So that certainly cleans that part of the branch up a bit. So let's keep going up this branch now. So I've got a few new shoots here. I've got a major subdivision up here. And again, it divides like a Y here. It's a good opportunity to prune one of them off, get a change of direction and taper there. And I think, you know, this side is right vertical. It's got a nice branch coming off here, but I think that's got to go. Keep my one that's fanning outwards. So I'm going to take off the vertical one. This branch, even though it's a nice branch, it's kind of growing inwards. It doesn't fan out, so it would have to come off anyway. So here I go. I'm removing this leg of the Y shape here. Coming in, if I can get in here, here we go. And off it comes. So that gives a bit of movement here. Now this is growing too tall. I talked about this branch going right vertical, right up to the top of the tree. So it should, you know, it should fan out more. So I've got to prune it back. And I have lots of leaves down here, but no branches, but these leaves will turn into branches. So I think it's just a matter of picking some good leaf direction. I have a nice leaf here, and a nice leaf fanning out here. So I'm going to go just above there. So here I go. Bit of a hard prune here. So the top comes off that branch. So I'm hoping a whole bunch of branches develop in this area, and they should. Now behind this I have another shoot that's growing back, and it doesn't fan out from the center of the tree, so I have to remove that too. So I think I'll have to get in there with the scissors. Yeah, like that. So that comes off too. So you can see now this branch, this lower branch, doesn't reach right up to the top of the canopy. It has room to kind of fan outwards now. So that should be quite nice. Now off of the branch here, I have a branch that is nice and horizontal. I have a vertical shoot on it here I can remove, like that. I've got a couple of divisions here, a horizontal branch and then one that kind of comes forward and out. And I'm wondering, again, it's like a Y shape here. I've got to pick which one I want to keep. This one is the most vertical. That would be the logical one to remove, so I think I will. Like that. So now this branch flows very nicely. I still have one branch above another here. I'm wondering what I should do there. I think I'm going to shorten this one, have it come out front more. Like that. That gets light to the lower one, and this one will come forward, and this one will maintain its present direction. I've got a bit of confusion here. I've got a few branches that are kind of overlapping a bit. I think I'm going to prune this one off here.
like that. Just so they're not overlapping on each other. And then there's a vertical part here. I could prune off this one. So that kind of cleans that area up. And cleans this entire branch up now. So again, you know, big holes opening up in the canopy. But, you know, it gets a lot of light down here. I should get some good interior growth on the tree. The next big branch is this one at the back here, which is a pretty ugly branch. It goes straight up here. I pruned it once and it kind of curves. Pruned it again. It's still very vertical. And again, it grows right up to the canopy. Is there a point I can prune it? Maybe. Maybe, you know, I've got this branch here, which is more horizontal. I could take the whole top off there, which would improve the tree a lot. It's a big cut. And, you know, you'll lose a lot in the canopy, but then it'll give room to grow the canopy out. My most important branch in this canopy is this one, because it comes forward. I didn't have any branches growing forward on this tree at all. So this is a new one, which is really good growing forward. I have one in here that's growing forward, which had some scale on it. I'll have to spray this tree. And I've got some up top that go forward. So that's really good. This one comes forward, which is nice. So it gives me some volume coming forward on the tree. Well, if I prune this branch, I could definitely prune this vertical part off of it. I hope you can see that. Let me show you a close-up. So let's go in and have a look at that branch. So here it is. It comes a vertical on an angle. I got a nice branch here. It comes up. I have a nice branch coming forward here, this one. And then I have kind of a vertical one here. So I could prune this vertical one away and prune this vertical part, keeping my branches that are kind of spreading outwards. So I think that's the plan. So just, you know, take this top off here and maybe that one off there, and then see what I have. All right, here I go. So some big cuts coming up here. So I'm going to take this branch off here. Oh. All right, big cut coming up. Here I go. Just like that. So there's the branch I took off. Whole part of the top of the canopy there. So that's looking better. I need to also remove that other vertical section, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think that whole vertical section here, if you can see it, so right from here up has all got to come off. I was originally just going to take the top off, but I think this one fans out more. I can prune that back and gets that branch moving a little more to the left. This is just still too vertical here. Nice branches that are attached to it, but I don't like that section. So here I go. That is coming off if I can get in here. Right like this. Big cut coming up. Just like that. So again, you know, a lot of good branching coming off, but getting the structure better. The core structure will get better. Okay, so now I've got to prune up these remaining branches. So again, I'm looking for direction. So here's a vertical one I'm going to take off. Like that. Quite a big cut. Another vertical one here I can take off. There's a branch out the back that is not, I'm just going to take a stub off here. It's not flowing the greatest. I'm going to prune it back shorter and hopefully get it to fan out a bit more. There's a dead part of the branch here I'm going to take off. The rest is looking pretty good on that branch. Yes. Now, this part that shoots vertical here. So I'm looking for a horizontal branch. I have one here, so I'm going to prune right back to there. Like that, taking that whole top off that branch. Keeping, you know, this is my apex. There's a vertical branch here that I'm going to take off. That was growing up into the other one. Here's another vertical one growing up back here. Take that off. This one can be pruned back shorter. And the rest aren't too bad. You know, this will need pruning in the future, but for now, I can just leave that. Leave this. Looks good. There's the branch coming out the back. It has a vertical section. I'll get rid of that. That's gone. And another one here with a vertical section. Like that. Okay, so again, you know, opens up a big hole here, but it gets the basic core branch structure better. Here is an overall look at the tree now. So it's kind of gone from a show tree to something that's not quite so good. But, you know, the basic branch structure is getting better. And it still has a lot of work. You know, this vertical branch might come off in the future. Or get, you know, pruned back, and something may have to be done with that. I think the next area I should work on is the canopy here. Getting rid of vertical shoots, keeping everything fanning out. There'll be a lot of crossing branches here, branches that are growing in towards the center of the tree and just growing over top of each other. So I'll tackle that, and then maybe we'll rotate the tree around and start dealing with some of these back branches. Alright, so I'm going to look at the canopy, and anything that's not flowing outwards will get removed. And if I can reduce the height a bit, I will. For instance, here I've got this branch comes up, divides to the left, divides to the right. I can just prune that off shorter, like that. Okay, I think I'm going to need to rotate the tree around and start on the back. And then I'll finish this canopy up from the front once I've got all this back structure kind of pruned up. So let's get the tree rotated so the back is at the front. I've got the tree rotated now, so you're seeing the back of the tree. And I can see a lot of vertical shoots too that I need to prune off to kind of clean up these back branches so they're fanning outwards and not growing straight up. So here I go. There's one shooting straight up here. I can come off. There's one kind of growing quite vertical. I'm going to prune it off to a nice... This leaf's fanning out. We'll see what happens there. That one's fine. Well, there is a small shoot growing up here. Take that off. This branch is fine. There's a yellow leaf here. So here's a branch growing from the back of the main trunk, kind of through the tree. I don't want that, so I'm taking it right out. I don't want branches kind of weaving their way between other branches. Here on this branch I have a vertical one I can take off here. Like that. There's another vertical one here. Take that off. And then this branch reaches up too high. I've got some good horizontal branches here. So I need to take that branch back. So here's that branch here. So it goes up. I've got a division. Again, multiple choices here of where I want to prune it. So I'm looking for a nice, somewhere where it flows. And I also am looking for the radial direction. So I'm going to try pruning it off here. See how it looks. I think I need to go lower. Maybe to this one here. Like that. Yeah, that's better. And this corner looks a little sharp now, but once this grows in, they all smooth out and blend in nicely. So take this off. You'll see in the future these branches tend to smooth out. So abrupt right angles turn into smooth flowing branches with time. Okay, so I think that one's quite good now. This one's good. This one, I've already pruned that one. I'll leave it. Here's a vertical one coming off. Take that off. There's another vertical one here I can take off. Another vertical one coming off way down here. I'll remove that. Now off of this branch I've got a vertical shoot here. I'll take that off. Another vertical one here that can come off. This one can get pruned back. And I've got a tip here that's kind of just starting to shoot skyward. I'm going to prune it off shorter back to here. Kind of redirecting it a little more horizontally. I see a shoot going straight up here. I'm going to take that off. And there's one here that I'll prune back very short, redirect it like that. Now I've got off of this back branch here, I have a shoot that's growing in towards the center of the tree. I think, you know, this is my branch leader now. I think I've got to take that ugly kind of stump off the top of it. Let me show you a close-up of that. So right in here you can see the branch comes up, directs, and then there's a stump, and then the new leader kind of grows in towards the center of the tree. I would rather these two branches be my leader, so I'm going to take that whole stump off the top. So here I go. Big cut. It's not a big amount I'm taking off, but it's thick. Like that, and I can clean that up a bit better. Like that. A little better. So I think that branch is in good shape now. I will take, there's a little shoot on the inside here I can remove, like that. Okay, let's go up into the canopy once again. All right, I'll do a little sorting out of the canopy here. There's a stub I can take off, another stub I can take off. Here's a branch going towards the inside. I'll remove that totally. And I think that's getting pretty close to the being done on the initial kind of structural pruning. So I think it's time to step back and have a look at the tree. I'm stepping back now, having a look at the tree. So you can see it's a lot sparser. But you can also see that, you know, the branches are splaying out more. They're not so vertical. The whole tree doesn't look as vertical. It looks like it's fanning out more, which is good. It's certainly not, you know, it doesn't look very beautiful at the moment, but I think in the future as this fills in, I think you're going to see a better basic core structure. And that's something I'll always have to keep working on, is trying to continue to improve that basic core structure of the tree. Getting those branches with taper, movement, flow. Yeah, get all the good stuff in the branches happening. Here's a look at the cutting room floor. A lot of branches taken off. Some that would make really nice cuttings too. I might try and root some of these cuttings because I do like, you know, if I have a rooted cutting, I have the option of fusing on more branches and roots coming off the tree. So just like, you know, this top was fused on, I could do that with other branches, try and improve the tree into the future. It's not something I normally like doing, fusing branches onto trees and stuff, but because this tree froze, it's kind of become the FrankenFicus, so kind of anything goes in this tree. Normally on my ficus and that, I'm not into grafting branches on and doing this kind of work, but for the FrankenFicus, it's kind of, it saved the tree, and it'll always be the FrankenFicus, not a pure tree grown as one single tree anymore. It'll always be kind of a fusion project. Let's fly in now and have a look at the tree kind of in 3D.
Bonsai can often be one step backwards, two steps forwards. So this is my step backwards for today, kind of pruning it back, getting that basic core structure improved. And then in the future, you'll see it fill out and turn into a nice tree once again. It's time now for today's updates. My first update for today is my baobab trees. I've got the tall one here, and you can see the leaves, I think you can see them, are all turning yellow and they're falling off. So the tree is done for the season. So I've stopped watering both of them. There's a little one too in the same pot. Right here. So no more water until spring when the leaves start coming out once again. The next update for today is my Australian umbrella tree. It is leafing out nicely, looking nice and healthy. It's in its new pot. Trunk is looking fantastic, all kinds of aerial roots. All kinds of character to the tree. Yeah, really, really like it. The last update for today is my Chinese privet. Even though I severely pruned the roots and the top, you can see it's still green and doing well. So that's exciting. I'm hoping it made it through that severe root pruning and it's on its way to recovery. It was nice getting my Ficus benjamina all pruned up today, getting that basic structure improved. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.